Hello there, thanks a lot for dropping by PosterCentral.com's video blog today. I'm Pete Howard, and boy, what a beautiful and special Country Joe and the Fish concert poster from 1969 from Honolulu, Hawaii. And it's so special because it was done by legendary poster artist Rick Griffin, who of course is known as one of the Big Five San Francisco psychedelic poster artists of the late 1960s. So this character in the middle, and in fact this poster, is known as Murph the Surf, because Rick Griffin started his career as a cartoonist for Surfer magazine while still in high school back in 1961. And very familiar image, if you're into pop culture at all, from the 60s. Here's a typical cover from back then with a young Murph the Surf on the surfboard there. So then in the mid-1960s, Rick moved from Southern Cal to Northern Cal and became immersed in the emerging hippie culture up there, and he did concert posters and album covers for the likes of the Grateful Dead and Hendrix and the Doors and lots of others. And then Rick moved back to Southern Cal in 1969, and yep, down there he was back into dabbling in surfer culture. So what you have here, this poster is just a marvelous marriage of those two worlds. And, you know, even though Country Joe and the Fish, a well-known act, I mean, completely stealing the show, is the central character, the goofy, lovable surfer, you know, Murphy, with quite a paunch on him, notice, that he had a few years earlier in '61. He's got a paunch sticking out there. And he's holding, let me get you a little closer for you there, he's holding a surfboard, and in thought balloons, or spoken balloons coming up from your head, you can say he's saying up, down, all around. Definitely spoken balloons, not thought ones. Now, I don't know what the origin of those four words are and, what context Rick had in mind when he put that. Certainly, musically, what comes to mind for me is a minor hit by Paul Revere and the Raiders, Ups and Downs, from 1967. I mean, it was played on KFRC, San Francisco Radio, and in it they sing, "I've been up, down, all around now." But then again, they're pretty generic words, and so who really knows? So, Murph, that's the surfer element of the poster. My goodness, the San Francisco psychedelic elements are everywhere else, and predominantly, of course, in all the special wording. In fact, when I say special wording, of course, I'm talking about all the lettering. And from top to bottom here, it says, "The Doves, Inc. presents." Kind of a, oxymoron, Doves and Incorporated, but whatever that is, what it says. Country Joe and the Fish. And by the way, a great time in that band's career. Their most recent album was the biggest of their career, called Together, and 4 months later, Country Joe McDonald would knock him dead at Woodstock with his "I Feel Like I'm Fixin' to Die" rag. Then below the central image, you do have the opening act, H.P. Lovecraft, psychedelic folk rock band from Chicago by way of San Francisco. And then in tiny lettering below them, you've got the Silver Bike and the Head Trip. And I don't know, I have to admit I'm stumped on that one. I assume two local bands, but if you happen to know, please definitely comment below this video. And then in Rick's stylized lettering there, it does say April 19th and 20th, Old Civic Auditorium, Honolulu, Hawaii. However, I do have it on good authority that the shows were canceled actually and did not take place, which doesn't impact the coolness of the poster at all, but the shows apparently did not happen. And now I've saved the most fun for the last. Okay, look at all the cool stuff gathered at Murphy's feet. Well, I'm kind of calling that an homage collage of sorts to several of Rick's previous concert posters, especially ones from just the last few months earlier in 1969. Just really a fun gathering of stuff. Well, first of all, the big arc of vines that goes, across and over Murphy's head. I mean, that's definitely from Rick's 1967 blacklight headshot poster, San Mescalito, known as Crouching Indian. And then, left to right, again underneath Murphy there, you've got the Royal Can from FD 79, Denver opening. And by the way, these aren't exact duplications of what was on Rick's posters. In fact, for example, that can was actually, I think, Royal Baking Soda on FD 79, but here it says Royal Love, so that's kind of cute. And then you've got the Burning Torch and Hearts from BG 136, Heart Touch, Big Brother and the Holding Company, somewhat toppled on its side, not sure why that is. And then you've got the Scarab or Beetle from BG 140, Jimi Hendrix Experience, and same art used for Iron Butterfly poster as well. And then a broken television set from Junkyard, the Van Morrison soundproof show at the Avalon Ballroom earlier this year. And again, all these posters I'm naming, of course, were done by Rick. As for that little smiley face with 4 limbs between Murph's legs, I don't know. I'm stumped on that one. Please leave a comment if you know where that came from, although I'm thinking it might be an original element just for this poster. And then the skull there, well, of course, that's a common element in Rick Griffin's posters. I think, in looking over all the artwork, though, it most closely resembles the Grateful Dead's Oxa Moxa poster, which came just earlier in the year. The nostrils and the teeth are identical. And then the cobra snake and flying eyeball above it. Take a look at that. Wow. I think, a lot of people automatically assume BG 105, but, I think not. Take a look at this. Yes, here is Rick's soundproof poster from February 1969 for the Youngbloods. And take a look at that flying eyeball with the red wings and the blue iris and no bloodshot veins. And you can see quite easily that that much more closely resembles the flying eyeball on the Murphy poster than BG 105 does. And in fact, on the soundproof poster, as you can see, that flying eyeball's got the, cobras by the talons. And on the Murphy poster, the eyeball's definitely zooming right in and just about to grab the cobra with its talons. So I think that's a pretty easy homage to identify in this case. And then finally in the far right, you've got the pyramid with the eye on it, and that most likely is from FD69, a poster nicknamed Independence. Matter of fact, as long as I'm close in, take a look at that Rick Griffin signature. Isn't that nice? Yes, this particular poster has killer provenance. It was once owned by and signed by Mr. Griffin. How cool is that? In fact, let's give him a little love with a photograph check. Most of you know what he looks like, but, he's no longer with us, and so let's definitely pay tribute there for just a second to a really nice photograph of Mr. Griffin. And for your particular nuts, this is on thin paper and measures 23.5 inches by 29.5 inches. Boy, what a fun poster from Hawaii 1969. Even if the show didn't take place, what a fun, interesting poster with so many cool elements by one of the true masters. Thanks a lot for dropping by. It's been really fun today. Hope to see you again soon, and thanks for your time. Bye-bye.